I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Thursday, January the 9th, brought to you in part by Fairpiece, that revolutionary product that is scientifically proven. Studies show that stress shifts cattle's metabolism into survival mode. Fairpiece counteracts that stress and reduces threat perception in all cattle treated. We have received countless testimonials. I'll attach a video at the end of this episode of the feeder flash for another one, but check it out, guys. You can't afford not to. For more information, go to fairpiece.com. Cash feeders ignore board pressure. The board was down pretty hard on Wednesday. We got to expect that. I mean, people trade the board for it to go up and down, and it's been pretty friendly here the last couple 3 weeks, and we had a down day on Wednesday. Every time we have a down day when we're sitting up here on this perch, we think, well, is this the day? Is this the beginning of the end? Is this the one that's going to start the drop off? I don't think so. I think when we see the drop off, we'll see it start with down $4 or $5 instead of a couple $3. So it's going to go up, it's going to go down. But the fact is, we saw new record highs continue to sweep on cash feeders all across the country. Just unbelievable, and nothing shocks me anymore. People send me texts and send me pictures of scoreboards and show me what cattle are bringing all over, and like I say, nothing surprises me anymore. But the bottom line is, feedlots are contracting fat cattle weeks down the road for the same price that they sold last week, and your nearby live cattle contracts are way behind that. So whether they catch up or not, that's the contract's problem. If they don't converge when they're supposed to, so of course we're still on a February contract, so they can juke and jive a long time before they have to come to fruit. But you look at your feeder cattle contract, and January feeders must meet up with the index levels here in just a couple of weeks, and trading near $10 behind your real-time index, which your CME feeder cattle index is right behind, and will catch up within just a day or two. So we're still sitting pretty good, and we're being driven by the cash market with the board following in behind. So we don't have to worry about it being the opposite right now anyway. But before long, we're going to see the board come down quite a bit and probably pull cash down, but we're not seeing it yet. These farmer feeders are coming in. They didn't make much money on their crops. They're coming in to try to make some money, feeding that cheap grain to the cattle that they're buying, keeping their input costs down, doing a lot of the work themselves. So they're full bore buying cattle right now, and they're seeing those cattle that they really like right here after the first of the year. These long time weaned, fancy cattle, and they're still calves, but they're ready to go on to feed, guys. And that's what your farmer feeders like to feed, is those big fancy calves that haven't been pulled down, haven't been sucked down, haven't had a bad day in their life other than it being a cold a few times, and that makes them even more hardy. And so they're going to keep you digging in and buying these cattle here. But this week's winter storm is a little bit farther south than the one we saw last week, moving out towards the east, and it is now forcing sale barns farther east to cancel their sales, including Kentucky and surrounding areas. And those aren't our biggest high volume sales, but it is still affecting marketing here quite a bit. I want you to be aware of the Kingsville livestock auction. That's one of my favorite sale barns there, and that is west central Missouri. It's just south and east a little ways from Kansas City there. Years ago, they first started out getting a lot of cattle, feeder cattle that were going to the Kansas City stockyards, but that sale barn has grown and grown and grown, and is no longer just a little rural country sale barn. It is a major regional market, and they underwent a major renovation over the holidays. I was watching it on Snapchat there with Jared Anstein, and he kept showing it. It was just amazing every day how much ground they would make, and they ended up putting a whole new ring in that sale barn, much larger than what they had before. they're now going to be able to weigh a load of cattle in just 2 drags, which is much better than what they had before. But it is top of the line, first class, and they are going to have their first new sale with the new ring, the new scales, new pneumatic gates there. It's going to be nice and quiet in there. But they do tend to turn the volume up on the auctioneer quite a bit, so it'll still be plenty loud for that. But they are going to have a couple of big sales here since they put the new ring in. They're going to have a special sale this Friday, and that is going to be on the 10th, including 20 loads of yearlings, local cattle there, and then about 2,000 head of weaned calves this Friday to kind of catch up. And then on Tuesday, for the regular sale day, on the 14th, they're expecting about 4,000 head of calves and yearlings. Of course, you can watch all the Kingsville sales on DVAuction.com. Get a hold of them there at the sale and get approved to bid on there. And we wish them luck with their new renovations there. And they're good friends of mine, Rick Anstein, Jeremy Anstein, and Jared Anstein, and their whole extended families there. That is a family operation, and they do it right there, and good luck to them. We also want to remind you about the Punchy Pick of the Month contest. It's coming up. It seems like it's always coming up. Comes around quicker than a pickup payment is what I tell the guys I work with when they tell me it's time to do it again. But the Punchy Pick of the Month, the last day of the month, we'll award that, and it's easy to do. If you get a pick on your phone when you're out doing chores or something that just looks pretty punchy when you see it, and you guys that are involved in that, you know what I mean. You can email that picture to us at punchy@nationalbeefwire.com, and the top prize winner will win the big prize, which includes a lot of swag from National Beef Wire, feeder flash, stuff that I don't even have. I don't know where it's coming from. Beaver feed companies sending in a lot of cool stuff. Beaver County Stockyards, our friends there, they've been, Beaver Feed and Beaver County Stockyards and Fairpiece have all been with us since the beginning of the Punchy Pick. But of course, the best part of that Punchy Pick prize package is the whole case of Fairpiece. For you guys that haven't tried it yet, you definitely want to try to win that Punchy Pick of the Month contest. So we take those Punchy Picks all month long there and award that on the last day of the month. Talk about your board for Wednesday. February live cattle futures down $1.87 at 193.70. That's a long ways from the cash market, guys. April down 2 1/4 at 195.52, and your farther outs down 80 to down 230. January feeder cattle down 282 all the way down to 265.57, with your real-time index at 274.50 and change. March feeder cattle down 295 at 264.97. Back months on feeders all down from $1.12 to down 232. Look at your grains. March corn futures down 4 cents at 4.54. Beans for March down 2 3/4 cents at 9.94.5, and hard red winter wheat for March down 5.5 cents a bushel at 5.50 1/4. Talk about your fat cattle market. We still haven't seen your direct trade negotiated out of the 5 area take off at all. Seeing a little drip of trade here and there. Iowa sold about 100 head on Wednesday. They've only sold about 700 head for the week. The live price that was quoted on Wednesday was $2, which was steady with the bulk of last week's trade. But most of the guys are going to hang out for more, and especially in Iowa, where they've been selling a lot of cattle negotiated cash, they've got the leverage. And if they hold these packers' feet to the fire, they can easily get another buck or two here, as aggressive as they have been. Didn't see any trade on Wednesday out of Nebraska, Kansas, or Texas. Did have a couple of good fat cattle auctions, though, I want to talk about. Sioux Falls Regional Livestock, DV Auction broadcaster there, had 1,250 head of slaughter cattle, including the cows and bulls. It's in Worthing, South Dakota. Conventional fat cattle, steers and heifers sold from $194 to $198.50. That was $2.50 to $3 higher than the last test before the holidays. Program cattle, drug-free and non-implanted, selling from $2 to $211.50. That was $4.50 to $8 higher. And since we come back from the holidays, we've been seeing big premiums paid for those program cattle. Another good fat cattle auction in the same area, Glacial Lakes Livestock, another DV auction broadcaster there in Watertown, South Dakota. Conventional fat cattle selling from $1.95 to $2, $5 to $7 higher. Program cattle from $2 to $2.04. Fat Holsteins from $1.65 to $1.75, and big fat fed cows selling from $1.30 to $1.40. Good market there in Glacial Lakes. Talk about your box beef cutout values. Choice cuts were up $2.80 at $328.61, getting close to the all-time high for 2024, around $330 there. So sitting pretty lofty there on box beef, even though some people want to tell you that our dressed beef is kind of falling behind a little bit. It's holding in there really well. Select's up $1.46 at $306.89. Your slaughter so far for the week, we don't have very good comparisons, but up through the first 3 days of the week, 357,000 cattle estimated slaughter. Can't really compare it with last week due to the New Year's holiday, but it was 52,000 better or heavier slaughter than what we saw the same week a year ago, which that same week a year ago was curbed by a storm there also, much worse than it has been this week. Talk about what else is going on. Lynn's Heritage Angus. They're having their sale coming up here January the 16th. I've been talking about it. They've been advertising with us. I urge you to check that sale out. It's never too early to find your next herd bull that can add value to your bottom line. If you're interested in harvest data, a lot of people want to do that on their calves that they're producing. They're anxious to know what those cattle are doing. For the cattle that they buy back on their buyback program with Lynn's Heritage Angus, and the ones that they partner with, some guys want to stay in and see how the cattle feed. You can get harvest data there. All those cattle are fed at their Tempest feed yard there in southeast Colorado. Get a hold of Anthony Randall there if you want more information on that. But the Lynn's Heritage Angus sale is coming up on January the 16th on the ranch in Byers, Oklahoma. It's going to be on DVAuction. You can get onto DVAuction now and look up the Lynn's Heritage Angus sale. Look at those videos, kind of see what you're going to be bidding on January the 16th. Also, Charolais, that's another breed that we have out there that we have a lot of sales, and it is sales season, guys. If you're looking to maybe change up your genetics, Charolais is a way to look there. For additional pounds with industry acceptance. Pounds matter and pay weight counts. For more information there, go to charolaiusa.com. Let's talk about your feeder cattle market, your real-time index on DV auction late in the day on Wednesday after all your sales had completed. Had your real-time index based on an 800-pound cash auction steer up through your middle 12 states sitting at 274.56. Up another $1.17 on a 7-day moving average with a lot of volume being put in there. Latest CME cash feeder cattle auction or index sitting at 272.86. Coming to you from another country, London, Ontario, Canada here for your Thursday feeder flash. Going to be here through Saturday. Going to be speaking on Thursday night as a keynote speaker there for the Ontario Cattlemen's Association conference here. Haven't met everybody yet, but expected to get to go out, look at some feedlots, look at some cattle here in the local area around Ontario. Looking forward to that and meeting everybody around here at this conference. Talk about your big feeder cattle auctions on Wednesday. Of course, one of the biggest, OKC West, El Reno, Oklahoma, strictly a DV auction broadcaster there. That's 6,850 head of feeder cattle and calves for the Tuesday and Wednesday sale. Wednesday, your feeder steers were $8 to $12 higher. Your feeder heifers were $4 to $7 higher. Tuesday, your calves sold $6 to $12 higher, just gaining by leaps and bounds every week, and they do such a good job there in El Reno, Oklahoma. Congratulations to them on a good sale. Another big sale, of course, one of our premium sales at Bassett Livestock Auction up in Bassett, Nebraska. another DV auction broadcaster there. They had 6,500 on Wednesday for their big sale. Haven't had a recent sale to really compare to, but they were our National Beef Wire stick-out sale of the day. And look at these quotes. And these are the weighted averages for all the cattle within these weight groups. Every single one of them looks like an individual outstanding quote. But just go through there and check out your best tested weights. How about 575 head of 4-weight steers and Bassett? They average 460 pounds at 402.90 on nearly 600 of them, guys. Very impressive. 805 head of the 5-weight steers average 557 at 356.02. There were 2,193 head of 6-weight steers and Bassett. They'd be top quality, guys. They average 641 with a weighted average price on nearly 2,200 of them of 335.82. Wow. How about 776 head of 7-weight steers, big calves, average 723 at 311.03. Now look at some heifers. How about 305 head of the 4-weight heifer calves? They average 467 with a weighted average price of 354.90. 656 head of 5-weight heifer calves average 544 with a weighted average price on heifers, guys, of 333.96. Now they had a big swath of 6-weight heifers and several of them selling for replacements, but altogether there were 859 head of them in the 6-weight category. They averaged 644 with a weighted average price of 302.92. There were 250 or about replacement heifers or sold for replacement out of those 6 weights, and they ranged from 295.5 to 319.50, guys, on 6-weight heifers. There were 260 head of 7-weight heifers there, averaged 736 at 279.85. The biggest quote that I saw come out for an individual quote from Bassett Livestock was 81 steers weighed 718 at $319 a hundred. Wow. Some other individual quotes that'll knock your eyes out from all around. How about Albion Livestock in Albion, Nebraska, sell 139 steers, weigh 806 at 289. Wow. How about Hub City Livestock in Aberdeen, South Dakota, long-time DV auction broadcasting customer there. 59 steers weighed 547, just dang near 5.5 at 380. But the most impressive quote that I saw from anywhere, near Macrison, no BS, top quote for the day for Wednesday, come out of Stockman's Livestock Market in Yankton, South Dakota. They don't just sell fat cattle well, they sell all classes well there. And on Wednesday they sold the feeder cattle. 52 big steers weighed 1019 at 257.75. And that's your feeder flash for Thursday.
My name is Jeff Slatton with the Beaver County Stockyards. We run a large number of yearlings. This fall, Rodrigo with Ferropeas came to me and wanted me to try this product. Since then, our medicine bills went to nothing. This is not an antibiotic. It makes your cattle keep hydrated. It makes your antibiotics and your drugs work like they should. I feed quite a large amount of cattle, and I'm sending them to feed yards, and every feed yard likes it now. We went from doctoring 40% of them last November to almost nothing. We're not having any bad eyes or foot rotters. It's eliminated tons of our problems. I would not buy a set of calves without using this. I think this has made me more money than any antibiotic or drug that I've ever used. This is not a paid advertisement. This is good stuff. If you want to make some money, buy you some little calves, use this Ferropeas and save a lot. I don't know what else to say, but it's the best product I've ever used.